My name's Liam. I identify as a genderqueer transmasculine person.
My name is Erin Kian. My pronouns are he, him. I am a queer, disabled trans man, and I make podcasts.
Why are we here today?
I'm here today to help you understand a little bit more about LGBTIQA+ identities and experiences.
I'm here today to answer some important questions, mostly around Queer 101 and what it means to be queer and disabled at the same time.
What commonalities are there between disability and being LGBTQIA+?
So some commonalities between being disabled and being LGBTIQA+ is that they're both umbrella terms. These terms cover a lot of different things underneath them.
There's a lot of internal love and acceptance and a lot of outside stigma for both of those things.
Both categories are also people who are discriminated against in society, and both things are often pathologized by the medical industry, even in situations where that pathology is not necessary.
What does sexuality mean to you?
So sexuality or orientation is a way of categorizing how people experience their attractions to other people.
Things like who you're attracted to and the sort of things about those people that you may be attracted to as well. But for example, your sexuality, if you are straight and you're a man, means that you're probably attracted to women. I identify as a queer person, and what I like about that is that I don't need to pinpoint exactly what that means to other people. I can just be attracted to who I'm attracted to.
In my case, I identify as bisexual, which means that I'm capable of being attracted to people regardless of what their gender is.
What are gender and sex, and are they different?
The way that those things are different can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
You're going to hear the words gender and sex a lot in the other training that you'll be receiving as part of this program. And the difference between those things is that gender is how a person identifies, and sex is a way that we categorize physical bodies.
For example, your sex is, generally speaking, the thing that was assigned to you when the doctor pulled you out, basically. It's mostly around the physical parts of you, whereas gender is more about the way that you know and feel that you are.
So in terms of gender and sex, using myself as an example, when I was born, I was assigned female, and my body has been categorized as female. However, over my life, that did not feel to me like a correct thing about myself. Like most people, I think we all evolve as people as we grow. And in my case, my gender also evolved in a different way from how my sex was categorized. Now, just because I was assigned female, that doesn't necessarily mean that my body is female. Especially at this point when I have taken part in medical transition, the phrase of sex and that kind of categorization starts to get a lot more complicated when you're talking about people like me.
When people say being gender diverse, queer, or intersex is a disability, how does that make you feel?
A lot of people think that being trans is a mental illness. Now, a lot of trans people, including myself, do have mental illness, but we are not trans because we are mentally ill. The mental illness and being trans are separate things that just happen to be taking place in the same person.
It's a very personal thing for each individual person. It implies that there may be some stigma around that, or there may be something wrong, or there may be something fixable about being gender diverse, queer, or intersex. And it's who I am. I'm the only one who has a right to define my sexuality or my gender or anything around that. I'm the only one who would actually know what it is. And so when people tell me that I can't possibly be that, or that it means something that they're interpreting, it's not only incorrect, but it tells me that you're not seeing me in the way that I know that I am.
Now, when people think that being gender diverse, queer, or intersex is a disability, that's removing an entire part of a person and dehumanizing them based on that. You're pathologizing something that is not necessarily a pathology.
Why do you think it's important for service providers to be informed?
It's important for service providers to be informed about LGBTQIA+ identities and issues because we're going to be your clients. And if we're your clients, it's your job to have enough information to help us in a meaningful way.
When service providers get it right, what does that look like?
When a service provider gets things right, it feels so good. It feels like I am being treated equally. It feels like things are normal. It feels like the way that things should be all the time. It's not so much a feeling as a relaxing of, oh, I'm being cared for just like anyone else.
When a service provider gets it right, that builds a much stronger trust between the client and the service. And that trust makes it much more possible to get the client's needs met correctly. Some examples of when a service provider gets it right and are actually caring for their client's needs in a helpful way are things like having a chosen name and pronouns fields on their forms, or having gender neutral and accessible bathrooms at their practice.
What advice would you give someone learning what LGBTQIA+ is for the first time?
It's fine to ask them questions, but if there's something you don't know anything about, I recommend that you find someone outside of your relationship with your client to help you find that information.
You're gonna get it wrong, and that's okay. The fact is, you've got to start learning somewhere. You've got to try. I guess the main advice I would give is, if you are trying and you're still offending someone, try again, because for you, you may have made a mistake once. For them, they may have heard that same mistake 10 times that day. So it can be a bit frustrating for them.